Russia sends wounded soldiers back to the front lines as soon as they are mobile, but more extreme cases have been seen in recent years, with soldiers on crutches or even in wheelchairs going into battle. As Forbes analyst David Gambling notes, this is horrible madness on the surface, but there may be cold calculation behind it, and Russia has several reasons for using such tactics. As researcher Chris O_wiki says, the problem of the attack by soldiers on crutches is connected with Russian bureaucracy, in which everything must be done according to the rules. Each unit has to have a certain number of people, so if they can't get enough new blood, they make up the numbers with wounded, he says. So even if a soldier is in a wheelchair, he can be sent into battle if he is technically capable of holding a weapon. The huge losses suffered in Russia's meat attacks mean that such deaths are easy to hide in statistics. There may also be outright fraud. Chris_O notes that some Russian bloggers have complained about false reports from military commanders, including lies about the number of effective troops and the casualties they have suffered. Returning wounded soldiers to combat allows them to minimize their losses and pretend that the unit is fully staffed. As the head of the Center for Countering Disinformation of Ukraine, Andriy Kovalenko noted, soldiers on crutches are sent forward to attract fire and reveal the firing positions of Ukrainian forces. In doing so, they act as magnets for FPV drones, drawing fire away from their healthy comrades and allowing them to carry out their mission. Under a new decree signed by Putin last November, seriously wounded soldiers will receive 3 million rubles, about $30,000, while those with light injuries will receive 1 million rubles or $10,000. This effectively creates an incentive to dispose of seriously wounded soldiers, Gambling writes, because if a wounded soldier dies in an attack, the government may not pay any compensation to the relatives at all. If a person goes missing, the family doesn't get paid. You need a body to prove it, and if there's no body, then that's it. Sorry, goodbye. A Russian deserter told CNN. As Gambling concludes, from a Western perspective, sending soldiers on crutches into an attack where they face almost certain death may not make sense. But for a state that does not value human life, it is different. A seriously wounded soldier who is entitled to compensation is a burden. If they are going to die anyway, it is better that they die before they can claim compensation for their injuries, he concludes. The media have repeatedly reported that wounded Russian soldiers are sent back to the line of fire for meat assaults. The Ukrainian army reported that such occupiers are often captured. Analyst David Axe wrote for Forbes that the emergence of Russian assault teams, which consist of soldiers on crutches, shows that Moscow is spending human resources faster than it can replenish them.
A military parade has begun on Red Square in Moscow, marking the 80th anniversary of the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. According to Associated Press, President Vladimir Putin and a host of foreign leaders, including Chinese President Xi Jinping and Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, attended the parade. Speaking at the parade, Putin hailed Russian troops fighting in Ukraine, saying that, "We are proud of their courage and determination, their spiritual force that always has brought us victory." Victory Day is celebrated in Russia on May 9th, the country's most important secular holiday. The Red Square parade and other ceremonies underline Moscow's efforts to project its power and cement the alliances it has forged while seeking a counterbalance to the West amid the 3-year-old conflict in Ukraine. The festivities were overshadowed by reports of Ukrainian drone attacks targeting Moscow, disrupting service at the capital's airports.
Наши отцы, деды и прадеды спасли Отечество и завещали нам защищать Родину, быть сплоченными, твердо отстаивать свои национальные интересы, нашу тысячелетнюю историю, культуру, традиционные ценности. Все, что нам дорого, что свято для нас. Россия была и будет несокрушимой преградой для нацизма, русофобии, антисемитизма. Будет бороться с бесчинствами, что творят поборники этих агрессивных, разрушительных идей. Правда и справедливость на нашей стороне. Вся страна, общество, народ поддерживают участников специальной военной операции. Мы гордимся их смелостью и решительностью, той силой духа, которая всегда приносила нам только победу. Командиров Красной Армии. Великий подвиг, полный разгром нацистской Германии, милитаристской Японии, их сателлитов в разных регионах мира свершился общими усилиями стран Объединенных Наций. Мы всегда будем помнить, что открытие Второго фронта в Европе после решающих битв на территории Советского Союза приблизило победу. Высоко ценим вклад в нашу общую борьбу солдат союзнических армий, участников сопротивления, мужественного народа Китая. С Днем Великой Победы! Ура!
The aggressor country is urgently changing its plans regarding propaganda events timed to coincide with May the 9th. Following the massive attack by Ukrainian drones on Russian territory, a wave of cancellations of events planned for the said date has begun in the Russian Federation, Verstka writes. The restrictions affected at least Moscow, the Moscow region, the Vladimir, Lipetsk, Vologda regions, and Mordovia. Thus, in Yegorevsk, the memorial service for the victims was moved from the cemetery to the church for safety reasons. In Ramenskoy, a school performance was cancelled, and in the Pavlovsky Posad district, evening concerts were cancelled, while car rallies and flower-laying ceremonies were retained. In the Vladimir region, the Immortal Regiment March and an evening concert have been cancelled in Kirzach due to the threat of a UAV crash. Similar measures have been taken in the Lipetsk region, where events have been postponed indefinitely and some events have been transferred to an online format. In Mordovia, the gala concert has been postponed to May the 15th, officially due to internet restrictions. In the Vologda region, bad weather was cited as the reason for postponing the events. In addition, performances by Russian artists who were unable to fly out of the Russian capital due to flight delays are being cancelled. Recall, Russia's defense ministry has claimed its air defenses destroyed about 524 Ukrainian drones in a single day during what is called the most massive drone attack to date. The figure came after pro-war Russian military bloggers reported a record drone and missile assault on Russia overnight into May the 7th. The Z-affiliated Telegram channel Vovovda Veshchet stated that 447 long-range drones and missiles had struck Russia between the evening of May the 6th and early hours of May the 7th. The bloggers described it as the largest drone attack since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. During the night, Russian Telegram channels tracked swarms of drones headed toward Moscow via Ryazan, Tula, and Oryol oblasts. Residents in the Moscow suburb of Yegorevsk and Kolomna reported hearing the sound of UAVs and explosions. By morning, Russian airlines had begun mass cancellations and flight merges, citing disruptions caused by the drone attacks. Andriy Kovalenko, head of Ukraine's Center for Counteracting Disinformation at the National Security and Defense Council, said a number of high-value targets within Russia's military-industrial complex had been hit. In Saransk, a fiber optic systems plant was struck. In Tula, the attack targeted the Instrument Design Bureau. Another target was the Splav enterprise, a key developer of multiple launch rocket systems for the Russian military.